Let's go. Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday, April the 11th call. If the weekend calls aren't up yet, they'll be up shortly today. I have a gentleman, his name is Raj. She's doing that for me, which is so awesome. So very, very awesome. Yeah, I'm totally enjoying that. I just need to keep up with him. So that's interesting. So which helps me be more focused because I have someone helping me, which is an amazing opportunity for me to check the boxes of the things that are required, right, from my place in space in order to create the business and create the life that I desire. So just give me a moment here while I tap it in. We've been spending a lot of time talking about business pieces, right? We talked about the marketing piece. We've talked about just being aware of I'll use the word, your superpowers, right? And the messaging that you can use in your world of your ideal client. And I've talked lots about the simplicity of business, right? That there's the marketing piece, there's the sales piece, there's the operations piece, and then there's like our spiritual development or our personal development piece. And yesterday I shared with you a series of, sorry, I was just looking for my book, which I think is my other room, a series of affirmations using the word signal. And so it's using neuro-linguistic programming to signal to the brain so that our unconscious and conscious thoughts moving forward, and how powerful that is. And so suggesting that everyone have an opportunity to go back, write down the affirmations that resonated with you, but also maybe just take some time to write them all down as well. And so I'm being guided to actually go back into that book or my textbook, which is on my iPad, and I don't have that in front of me. So one moment, please. Pause. I'll be right back. All right. What I find really interesting in this text that I'm studying is, so this is a metaphysics degree. And there's lots of talk of, using the word God mind, higher power, higher mind. Like they mix all of the words together. And then they have prayer treatments, meditation treatments, and then they have affirmations. So it's a combination of, for me, the combination of the universal laws and what I would have deemed before religion. And what's interesting for me is my resistance to religion has been that it's been for my feelings have been around religion is I'm gonna use my word, like man-made, right? Like it's like somewhere along the way somebody, a man, made a decision to lead, right, to lead a church, have a church, right? And then and then there's a whole history of when things kind of separated. And so and there's great history. Like if you actually have the opportunity to go into all of the history around religion, it's a great story. Like it's a fascinating twists and turns and plots, showing, of course, the polarization of us as human beings, right? That in the name of religion, many wars have been started, and what part of the ego, the id, the I, and what is at the root of all of that is power and money. And so no wonder we as a human species have been programmed to stay away from power and money. It's kind of funny to me. Like, right, so there's only certain institutions or entities that can be powerful or have money. And if we let that go and we reprogrammed or deconditioned ourselves, is what they call it in human design and Gene Keys. If we deconditioned ourselves and accepted how powerful we are, the amazing things that could unfold. But that our programming goes back centuries of being afraid of our power. Right, being afraid of our own healing abilities, being afraid of our own unlimitedness or limitlessness, and what would happen if we weren't afraid. And so as I'm studying this, I would say methodology for me, it's when I read something, I go, oh, I totally knew that, even if I'd never heard it before. And it's a really interesting it's when I read Conversations with God, in the book, God says to Neil Donald Walsh, it's a remembering. We know this. We hear something and we remember it. And so it's that awareness of the remembering. And so in this chapter, this module that I was studying last week, it's talking about overcoming. So overcoming obstacles, challenges, overcoming conditioning, like whatever that is. And it's about accepting that God, so again, use your words that resonates with you, is the highest essence of your self-identity and the action that follows such an acceptance. So we identify ourselves as the human being, right? I am Ranchelle. I am mom. I am a daughter, right? I am a coach. So we spend more time self-identifying with those pieces versus self-identifying with the truth of the essence of who we are, which is I am divine intelligence. I am, a fractal energy of God. And I think that's where I got to accept the divine within me, because I used the verbiage, I am a fractal energy of divine. And it was easier for me, right, to accept that. It was easier for my mind to accept that, my ego to accept I'm a fractal energy of God. And so some of the thoughts that we can think when we move into following our desires, there will be obstacles and challenges, perhaps. There'll be limiting thoughts that we have, right? And so when we're aware of those thoughts, then we can move into overcoming those thoughts. And this module talks about how to overcome them in a different way, which is what I wanted to share with you. And so in the book, it says, if you have been experiencing a miserable time in your attempt to overcome your problem, obviously something must change. The change we refer to is not one that will take place outside of yourself. The change must be made inside yourself. Other results outer results in your life then follow a natural course. So to overcome external circumstances, you must first overcome your internal world, which we've talked about before, right? So if we're wanting to overcome not having enough clients, what we need to work on is not that. So meaning not work on more clients, but work on the resistance to, or whatever's happening internally that is preventing us from finding, attracting, whatever, more clients. Because there's like a billion people out there. So we're not short of people, right? And we're not short of ways of connecting. I live in Red Deer, and none of you here live in Red Deer, but I'm speaking with you. So we're not short technology. So we're not short of people, and we're not short of technology. Then what's up? Why is it difficult, air quote, to find clients, right? And even if we can be really silly, I have like 3,700 Facebook friends, right? I'm not short of people to talk to. I have 3,000 people on LinkedIn, which are maybe, let's say, probably most of them are different than the people I have on Facebook. So I have 3,000 people there, right? I have 6,000 people on my email list. So what's that, 9? That's 12,000 people, right? So that's not the reason, right? That if we're looking for more clients, if I was looking for more clients, what does that look like, right? And so and I think all of us have access to, right, a lot of people. We just might not be accessing the people. Nothing wrong with that. No judgment there. It's just an awareness. Isn't that interesting that there's billions of people on Earth? I live in a city of, I think there's 90,000 people here, right? So I have access to about 100,000 people. So not finding clients can't be a thing, right? And so it's that starts with that radical awareness piece. So going back to overcome our external circumstances, we must first overcome our internal world. Again, not new words for anybody, but there's they have a guide here. It's so interesting. They have a guide that provides descriptions of typical and common blockages that most people have inside themselves, and unless they're removed, can actually handicap this is the worst, that can handicap us for our entire life, right? And then there's information here about factors to overcome. And then the third piece they have here is relating to what they refer to as the metaphysical wisdom that can be utilized to make the change within oneself. So we always start internally, right? And so here is some of the information. So the blockages that prevent overcoming. So for those of you, just time-wise, just write down 8:15. So a quarter after we started, you might want to go back, because these are also really powerful. So these are the blockages that prevent overcoming an obstacle. So the false belief that you don't have it in you. The false belief that causes you to have fear. The false belief that others are better than you, giving you the feeling that you must step aside and let them pass you by. The false belief that you don't have sufficient abilities. The false belief that because you have failed in the past, you probably will fail again in the future. The false belief, conscious or unconscious, that you should not succeed because you don't deserve to, as punishment for something in your past. The false belief that you are naturally too self-conscious or shy, right? Next, the false belief, pardon me, let me back up. This is the headline underneath. This is the most essential issues to overcome, is these ones I'm going to share with you. The false belief that you don't have it in you now or in the future. So it's kind of taking what we just shared, but adding a bit to it. The false beliefs that that are groundless fears that prevent you from overcoming obstacles now and in the future. The false belief that you are not in a class with those who know and who are succeeding in overcoming what appears to be obstacles. The false belief that you lack abilities. If you will, but make the effort, you'll discover abilities you never imagined you had. The false belief that if a person has failed before, even many times, that he or she is destined to a life of failure. The false belief that you won't succeed because you don't deserve to. The false belief that you lack that something extra inside yourself that would give you the necessary self-confidence to overcome all barriers and move ahead. What I really like about the way this is phrased is I have always used the word empowering belief and limiting belief. But when I added the word false belief, I was like, oh, because the false belief means it's untrue. So there's the truth with the capital T, meaning like divine truth, and then there's a false belief. So again, words are important to us. So pick what you like. But for me, it was this resonance of, ooh, right? So what happened for me, it was like, I can accept when I have a limiting belief and I do my thing, right, to change it into an empowering belief. But when I went, if this is a false belief, it was like, I don't even have to accept that then. Like I had this switch that went, then I don't have to accept that. So I'm willing to accept in my own personal life. I noticed I was willing to accept that I had a limiting belief. I could work through it. I had the tools to work through it. So I was grateful. But when the moment it went, well, this is a false belief. Well, then I don't even have to entertain it because it's not the truth from God. It's not my truth. It's not divine truth. So you may have that same experience where it's like, oh, it's a false belief. So this next piece is the mystical and metaphysical wisdom to apply in overcoming. So here's how you overcome your false beliefs. So a belief, a knowledge, a sensing, a feeling that while God is within you, there can be no such thing as the falsehood that you don't have it in you. So, right? A belief, a knowledge, a sensing, a feeling that while God is within you, there can be no such thing as the falsehood that you don't have it in you. So we can add that to with the application of the universal law, if you desire it, the ways and means to make it happen is available to you because, and then you can go back into this statement. Next, a knowledge of the wisdom that while God is within you, the universe is within you. And that which is finite, from which most of your fears come, is insignificant by comparison to the great whole that you are. So although we may have a fear, right, the fear is finite in comparison to the infinite wisdom or the divine intelligence. It's like a speck of dust in the world of dust, right? Next, a knowledge that you are equal to anyone, for everyone's highest is the same God within. Right? I'll say that one again. A knowledge that you are equal to anyone, for everyone's highest is the same God within. Therefore, by acknowledging the presence of God within, you are equal to the highest within anyone. Through your acknowledgement of this, you attune yourself to an inflow of that highest that will lead you to overcoming. Right? And so for me, it was when I think about the geniuses. So regardless of what you may think of Elon Musk's personality, let's say, right? As the genius that he is, knowing that I have access to the same genius, that he is no more intelligent than I am, it just might look different. I'm not Elon Musk. And Elon Musk isn't Rand Shell, right? And just so that acknowledgement. Acknowledge that all things that will ever be are within a self-contained universe within yourself, right? Because energy is neither created nor destroyed. That all things that will ever be contain the creative abilities of the present and the future, that you can begin to bring forth these abilities by attuning yourself in thought and feeling that all things that will ever be are within me. All things that will ever be are within me. So when it comes to business, if we say to ourselves, I don't know how to find clients, let's not even worry about the language there, or I don't know how to get clients. You can go, well, that's not true. That's not true. I, Ranchelle, might not know, but the divine, the God within me knows how to get clients. So why don't I, stop relying on my brain pan and my false beliefs and just ask God to show me the way. What's my next step? Right? And it might not be what we think it is. The wisdom to understand that all failures are a preparation, adjustment, redirection that lead to success. This is the way that life evolves and grows, and all individual lives are included within this natural law. So the wisdom to understand that all failures are a preparation, adjustment, redirection that lead to success. So what I love about this is we can take a look if there's a desire for you to take a look at what you would have deemed failures and ask yourself, was this a preparation for what was next that I didn't see, an adjustment that I needed to make, a redirection that led to my successes, right? So a preparation, an adjustment, a redirection. Next, the wisdom to understand that there is no such thing as not deserving to succeed. God or nature does not seek to punish its own creations. All errors which one would consider deserving of punishment are the natural mistakes of a trial and error principle, by which life perfects itself. Punishment, even self-inflicted, is ignorant of the truth. So we'll go back to the wisdom to understand there's no such thing as not deserving to succeed. So everyone deserves to succeed. Everyone. So even if people are shitty, they deserve to succeed, right? And so the next, let the presence of God within you be your foundation for self-confidence. So think of the word self, as in self-confidence, as a self that is one with God, a God self. So instead of feeling a lack of self-confidence, begin feeling the fullness of your God self-confidence. So I'll say that one again, because that's really important, because I think what happens is we wait until we feel more confident, self-confident, to do the thing. And that's not actually how it works. The thing needs to be done, and then we will feel the self-confidence. But what they're suggesting here in this text is that the presence of God within you be your foundation for self-confidence. So think of the word self, as in self-confidence, as a self that is one with God. So if we are one with God, a God self, then rather than feeling this lack of self-confidence, we begin feeling the fullness of your God self-confidence. So we don't need to rely on our self-confidence, because divine self-confidence is present. And the reason why we're not doing the thing will dissipate once we do the thing. But it won't dissipate unless you do the thing. Right? And so I believe the confidence comes after you do the thing, not before. So that we can use some of those feel the fear and do it anyway. Right? Fake it till you make it. I think that's what the purpose of those were, right? Like, you just do it. Leo talked about fighting in the ring, and I said to him, How do you do that? Going into a ring, knowing that someone wants to punch you and wants to knock you out. How do you like develop the courage to do that? And he said, you just do. You just know that you're going to get punched, or you know that you're going to get taken down, and pain is temporary. And he said, so you just do it. He said, this is my choice of career. This is, I love training. I love everything about this. And he goes, no. And I said, including getting punched in the head. He goes, well, no one likes to get punched in the head, Rachel. He said, but that is a consequence of the things that I love about this sport. Right. And I'm like, okay. Right. So the consequence of us doing what we love, let's say maybe is having a conversation with someone about them joining your program and they say no. I'll take that over getting punched in the head. Right? What does that look like? Right? And so really, when we talk about overcoming an obstacle or challenge, what the text is suggesting is overcoming the false belief that there is anything less than your own self, one with God, one within you. So all of that is a false belief, right? So again, we're taking the language of a limiting belief, and we're switching it to a false belief. And then there's a formula that we can follow. Excuse me, there we go. To let go of the false beliefs and be in awareness that they're groundless, right? There's no true evidence to have a false belief. It's conditioning, right? So we can accept that it's conditioning, and then, okay, what's next? All right, everyone. That went really, really fast. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day. Love to all of you. We'll talk soon.